Today's stream is going to be a little different. For a few minutes, anyway. The basic reason for the slight change in the stream today is because, hold on. There we go. Now, yesterday, while I was out flying around, I did run into a newer player who was doing the same thing I was. Except for they were new, and I've got about a year's experience under my belt, so I have a slightly better understanding of the game. The person I ran into is actually Russian, or at least that's what they spoke. And part of the thing you're going to run into in this game a lot is you're going to run into a lot of people who speak Russian. You're going to run into a lot of people who speak in various Asian forms. And I've even seen a few Spanish-speaking players, which really isn't that hard to believe. One thing that I've always tried to do while playing the game is be welcoming and inclusive to anybody who's coming in. And I realized, and it was brought to my attention, the person was actually nice enough to message me to thank me for showing who I am. And I wanted to reach out and say that while I was laughing, okay, and I will laugh at myself a lot, I will laugh at stupid things that happen in this game a lot, because that's what I do. I laugh at myself. It's self-debasing. I'm used to it. But one thing I want to do is I want you to understand that if I ever run into somebody and I start laughing at something going on, I'm not laughing at the individual. One of the excuse me, I'm still a little sick. One of the things that we learn quickly yet still manage to take for granted is that there are a lot of people there are a lot of people in this game who might not understand what's going on. Contact. All right. And because of that, your reactions might not make sense. Honestly, my big point in the whole doing this stream series is I want to show people the game itself. I want to show the kind of people we are. I want you to be able to feel free in coming to me if you have questions. So please understand that if you're looking at the stream and you catch me laughing at something that may not necessarily seem funny, it has nothing to do with the individual. All right. A lot of the vast majority of the time, you'll find me laughing because I understand the situation. I've been there. In this particular case, much of the discussion couldn't be understood if you don't speak Russian. And I'm sure my translator did a really bad job, but I understood where the other player was coming from. I did. It's hard to trust people in the game. It's hard to take people at face value. And that's exactly what I was asking of this person who had never spoken to me before, had never met me, had no idea who I was. So, I don't know if an apology would be the appropriate thing to do, because it is who I am. In-game, I'm a very social person, because a lot of my work is done behind very thick walls and security doors. Okay? So my coming into game is meant to be my social time. And there are going to be things that I'm going to find humorous, for lack of a better term. And that humor has nothing to do with the individual. That humor is absolutely because I've been there. I understand. And because of that, I do my best to make light of it, because sometimes it's easier to get by something when you understand that the person you're talking to has been through it and can understand and can still come out laughing. So, for anyone who I may run into in the future, and anyone who actually finds this particular stream, I want you to understand something. My reaction towards you will always be who I am. It'll always be genuine. I'm not the kind of person who has 4 and 5 alts on screen. I mean, this is it. This is my build. This is all I got. Okay. It's just me on one screen with my computer. Hopefully this clarifies for some people the way I am and the way I will react to the individuals. There's never any malice meant. Also, it was brought up about how I'm streaming, and the wording didn't quite mesh up for me. I didn't really understand a part of it, but I did understand the position that was being taken, and that was that, participation without permission, acknowledgement, something to that effect. And while I do understand that there will be some people who will be uncomfortable with that, one of the things about the game is while it's a virtual space, it is a public space. And because of that, I will do my best to be reasonable towards people. And I will do my best to be polite to people, always. Even people who we don't like. And there's a lot of us. Nope. I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that on stream. I'll read it later. So, the reason for the stream is strictly to say, this channel, the way I made it, is designed to introduce new people to the game. New people are going to have experiences that the grizzled veterans or, the sophomore players may have already been through. And to a freshman player, it's huge and exciting. I remember going super excited because of my first million ISK. It took me days to get my first million ISK because I kept going for pirates in ultra high security space, 1.0 and 1.0 and 0.9. Okay, and those payouts were garbage. Okay, but when I got that first million, it was exciting. And looking back on it now, I look at it as like, wow, I make $1 million on a single excursion. I make 100 times that on a single excursion. But back then, it was huge. It was amazing. So I don't ever intend to make light of that. Everyone's milestones are a little different. And because of that, I'm here to help out if you ever need it. If you have questions, if you want to see something specific, don't be afraid to message me. Don't be afraid to ask for something that I can show you that if I haven't shown it before, or even in cases where I have shown it before, because that's what this is about. This is about learning the game. This is about enjoying the game. This is about being friendly with those around you, even if there is a, we'll call it 50% chance that they're going to blow you up. So, to the player I met last night, again, I meant no disrespect at all during our conversations, and if you took any of it that way, that was not intentional. So that's a big thing for today. And the interesting thing is, you're going to find a lot of people in here. If you look, here I am in local. There are 46 people showing up in local right now. Any one of these people could be a good person, could be a bad person, could be mean, could be evil, could be just some bot sitting here meant to dig up rocks. You won't know until you try. And I've actually met some pretty interesting people that way. So that was the big crux of my reason for doing this quick stream. Typically, this would be something I would probably put on a YouTube channel, which I may eventually link on here. But I just wanted you to know that this is a beginner's channel. This is meant to be introducing people to the beginning of the game. And in that vein, I laugh. I'm going to laugh, but I'm going to laugh with the events, not at the events. So, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and make some ISK. And as I said earlier, I'm still a little sick, so I apologize for that. But we have an awful lot of junk that I just have no need for at this point in time, because I'm not doing any construction on this character. Let's see here. So this can go into the bay. These can go into the bay. All these can go into the bay. Actually, no. I'm a one-year veteran to the game. That's the reason why I said the sophomore types, because I consider myself to be practiced, but not exactly a veteran. I don't think it's all going to fit. Oh, it fit. Oh, that's right. This one's a slightly bigger... Somewhat, yeah. I've been playing for about a year. I enjoy the game, but I have people who I'm trying to introduce to the game, so I figured the biggest ship. Oh no! Oh, sell it? Yes, I'm going to be taking it to sell. I'll be heading to Jita in a few minutes to sell up a bunch of junk. And this particular character, no, I don't have a core. This is meant strictly for showing off some of the stuff for the games. My main character is in a corporation, and he's currently he can fly battleships, but I tend to fly Vexers. Yeah, do I have a hauler here right now? Yes, I do have a Nereus. It's a good idea. Thank you. I mean, for the most part, I'm not carrying all that much. My biggest concern is taking a hauler into Jita. I know Code tends to play around here, so I'm trying to not get Code's attention. Wait, did I put... Okay, good, I didn't put the wrong things in. So I'm going to keep the rest of that for now. Make a decision later. as of right now, like I said a few minutes ago, my primary purpose for this is just to show people some of the newer stuff. I'm not really looking to... This character I won't be playing on an awful lot, and eventually I'll switch over to my main character and goof off with that instead. I'll start doing my my explorations in my Helios instead of... I appreciate the offer, don't get me wrong, no disrespect meant at all. Actually, corporations is something that I'll be going over here in a little more detail, probably during the next week. So that way newer players have a better understanding of what the corporations are meant for. And I apologize again, I'm still a little under the weather. In fact, I have a doctor's appointment coming up here in the next 2 hours. So, I'm going to get my stuff, fly to Jita, and then sell it. So maybe I should do a quick adjustment here. Go. Update that so that way it's a little more accurate. But yeah, I mean, this character is only about a week or two old. Not really much behind it for training yet. But I do need to bump up archaeology and hacking, considering that's the main use for this character.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
There's a Brutix Navy issue right here. Now, for anybody who is joining the stream here and has never actually played, Jita, the big pull about Jita is that it is a I am in a corporation on my main. I don't remember the alliance it's in, and the corporation's in a bit of a flux. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm planning on doing with all that yet. I want to stay. I want to stay with my group because they were very helpful. Yes. Jita is one of the several trade hubs. The ones I can think of off the top of my head are Jita, Dodixie. What is that other one? In Minmatar space, there's one in. It's in a mid-sec, just above low-sec space. Yeah, there's one in Amarr. I can never remember where that is, and I've never actually been there that I can say, unless it's the Amarr homeworld. And Heck is one of the ones that I was thinking of, and that's in Minmatar space. And Heck is H-E-K. Oh, it's actually called Amarr. Okay, so that makes sense. It's Amarr. Thank you. And I think there's another one, but those are the four biggest that I know of. And I'm actually thinking I'm gonna transfer these over to my main character. But the rest of the stuff I got, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna sell it. Now, with where I am, the closest hub to me is Dodixie. so it might technically be safer for me to go to Dodixie. Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I did go looking that up once because I do use Eve Marketer and EveMarketplace.com to get an idea of, especially when I'm trying to build ships on a budget. Okay, so you guys might remember from before the star system map. So here's where we are, and this is all of space as we know it outside of wormhole space. Now we have Jita, which is the whole way over here, and it's a 14 jump. It's 14 jumps from where we are. Relatively safe, but there is some lower sec space in the area that we'll be taking. And then we also have Dodixie, which is 9 jumps away. It's not quite as big of a trading hub as Jita is, but it works in a pinch. And then we have Amar. That's a 17 jump. I'm getting ready to start jumping here in a couple seconds. And then we have Heck. So. Oh yeah? How was the Burn Jita events? That doesn't seem like it was a lot of fun to people trying to sell. So we set our destination. Do not use auto jump because that is an immediate flag for people like Code who don't want people to be bot aspirants, which basically means you're, you know, playing the game but not the way they want you to. I was apparently playing during the last Burn Jita event in March, but at the time I wasn't going anywhere near Jita, so it didn't affect me in the slightest. And for the newer players, Burn Jita is literally when people sit there and attack freighters going in and out of Jita. That's all. That's what it is. Yes! Yes, the ball of Concord right there. Oh man, it was crazy to watch. I actually caught a live stream of it recently. It was obviously a recording from previous play, but it was crazy to watch the amount of Concord that was in one spot. And the guys who set up for that, they set up for it for real. Yep. I'm actually a little concerned about that right this very second because with the whole rogue swarm thing going on, people are trying to sell off their salvage bits. Alright, now, while we are flying, set here. There's a kill rate on him that you can activate. Nah. Yeah, exactly. Especially if they actually start losing any of their ships, because, as we all know, Concord like to hold you in place and pummel you to death. Now, what we see down here, this is actually an estimated price. The likelihood that I'm going to get that price is slim. I'm probably going to get closer to about 120 to 130. And that's if I'm lucky, because right now, a lot of my money right now is here in these salvage parts. But right now, with the rogue swarm going on, the market's going to be flooded. But again, this is an alpha character. The idea is, hey, look, I did some interesting stuff. Now let's see what we make for doing that interesting stuff. The idea is, this is the kind of thing we see for a newer player, and that, you know, that kind of feeling you're going to get for that. I'd be happy if I just break 100 million for 2 days worth of search. I was thinking about it. I really was. But like I said, this is not going to be a long-term going forward character. This is going to be mostly for demonstrating stuff for alpha characters. On my main character, I'm holding on to those. You bet your bottom dollar I am. I got $1.5 billion of those on my main character, and I'm planning on selling those off, well, about half of those off, because I use those to make my my rigs. Yeah. Yes. I don't run any freighters yet, but I do have a heavy haul or what is that? An Iteron. There we go. A heavy haul Iteron. I also have a warp stabilized Iteron for when I'm going in and out of less than safe territory. I've been pretty lucky though to have avoided the majority of the worst of the gate camps. Yeah, my Iteron, I think it's got a hull capacity at 25K. I'm not I'm not 5s across the board. I'm slowly leveling up here and there. Right now, I'm setting up to be able to fly a Porpoise. And for those who don't know, that is a mining support ship. Its primary purpose is not just to mine, but to help other people mine faster. Most people around use the Orca to do that because it's got a massive ore hauling bay, but I'm not trying to have the biggest bullseye on my back, so I'll fly around in a Porpoise instead. Right. My my main character is actually in a corporation that participates in faction warfare, and so I had to learn really early on to build up my miasmos to be able to escape single point gate campers. I was flying from, well, I'll just say I was flying into Dodixie, or out of Dodixie. I had just emptied off my ship, and all of a sudden I started getting someone tried hammering me with an instant lock-on tornado. While that is true, if you're busy taking on a porpoise, you might be less likely to hit the guy who's carrying a larger ore load on that orca. And besides, well, right, but it was a single ship. It was one guy in Caldari Navy going up against my guy who is apparently was it Federation Navy, the Federation of Galente, and he tried to point me, and I got lucky enough to escape. Yeah, come to think of it, it actually was a tornado. That the guy at the time I was flying a Miasmos, and like I said, I was fortunate enough to escape. And then some guy later on threw a temper tantrum because I took out a sizable loss of ships out on some guy who was flying cargo in faction warfare space. Not my normal play style, but I did that. I did that. He spent the next 20 minutes yelling at me too, in Russian. I was like, hey, I didn't pop you, but I can turn around and finish you off. And then, because of the way he was acting, I turned around and was like, you know what, I'll sell you back the ships you lost in that transport. So I would have just given it back to him. It's always fun when you realize you make a small mistake. Can an alpha do ice harvesting? I know they can do ore. Nope. Okay, so an alpha can do ore and get Oh, ouch. Whoops. Yeah, an alpha account can do ore and gas. Yeah. So I'll be doing that at some point to show off one of the interesting things that can be done as an alpha. Usually my streams are dedicated on day one, you know, for one particular thing for a particular day. Today, early on, I wanted to discuss, you know, meeting new players and the way I am. And I actually did that for a little while. And then I decided I was going to go to Dodixie, or Jita, go to Jita, and clear up my inventory just a little bit. Oh, excuse me.
Warp drive active.
A couple not so friendly types right around here, as it looks like. Welcome to Perimeter. Alright, now we're about to make landfall in Jita. Now, for those who are not used to the game, there's a couple things to remember. One, it doesn't matter how much you try to sell something for, you're going to pay a sales tax. And if you decide to set up something to be bought in the future, it's going to incur, if I remember correctly, a 3% broker tax, depending on where you are and what your skill levels are. Now, this being an alpha clone, those skills are actually really, really low. Oh. Going the wrong way. We need to go... I want to say it's that one. We'll find out really quick. It's been a little while since I've had to do it this way. So we'll just click on anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Caldari Navy Assembly Plant.
Warp drive active.
On Jita 4, Moon 4. I'm not sure I understand the question. Does who?
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Oh, player-owned structures have their own sales tax, and I was actually getting ready to get into that. I'm sorry, it's like I said, I'm not feeling great, so I'm a little off. First off, one of the things I need to mention while you're in Jita, don't buy these things. They are never, ever, ever worth it to buy these contracts, and make sure to read them very carefully, because otherwise you're going to be losing a lot of ISK and a lot of stuff. Now, what he's talking, what he's, I never ignore local. In fact, I have a lot of fun messing with the people in local. But let's see. So let's call them a VMI. What VMI is talking about is there's different ways to do the sales tax. If you're in an NPC location, your sales tax is based off of what the NPC sales tax is, and that tends to be, like I said, if I remember correctly, it's either 2 or 3%. If you are on a player-owned structure, like for example in Botane, there is a major construction yard, and their sales tax is 1.2%, which is a great reduction in how much you're actually going to pay just for selling your stuff. So in this case, because I'm in the Caldari Navy site, the sales tax is going to be uniform across the NPC world. If I were to go to, say, a private structure like a Reitaru that has marketplace access, then your sales tax will be based off of what the person who owns that site wants you to be. So, in order to sell things, you can't have them in your cargo of your ship. You actually have to take them out and put them in the item hangar. Step 1. Step 2, if you're just trying to hurry up and get rid of crap, you don't care about how much you're going to make, you just select them all, right click and hit sell items. And it'll automatically fill out the total sales value for everything you have in your hangar. And that may take a few minutes. Depending on how much you're throwing in there. Oh, wow. That's actually not terrible. All right. Now, without doing any wheeling and dealing, as you see, here's the estimated price. And as you don't have a broker's fee if you pay immediately. The sales tax here is 2%, not 3%. And so after sales tax, I will have made $137.7 million on everything in my inventory, which actually isn't too terrible. And if you look over here, you will see an average price comparison. A lot of times it'll be, if you go over 1 or 2 jumps, then you will make more. All right. Like clearly, if I have someone willing to buy this at above the average selling rate, then that's great. But if we come over here to, say, these antibiotics that people are typically buying for less than half of its value, yeah, right? Then you might want to consider holding off on selling that. Like this force cable. You want to take a look and see how much that's actually selling for? You can right click on an item and hit View Market Details. So as you see, people are buying these things up for less than 1 whole ISK, and then turning around and selling them for almost 10. That's a pretty steep markup. So what you want to do is you'll want to decide, you'll go through all your stuff here and you'll decide what it is that you want to keep on here for instant sale. Also be careful if you are trying to scroll up using your mouse wheel and you accidentally mouse over one of these spots, the scroll will instead begin scrolling up the value. So be careful of that. Now here, even at a almost 7% reduction in value, I'm still making 15 million on that. It's up to you how much you're willing to give away for the sake of ease, I guess we'll put it that way. So let's take a look at the marketplace for the logic circuit. Now the sellers are literally selling that component for double. And the buyers on the station, let's see here. It's automatically giving you the best price you can get. Anything highlighted in green down here is what you can sell. So I could either put this on the market here for 940,000 ISK, or I can sell it right now for 827 and have no broker's fees. It's up to you whether or not that value is really worth the hassle, the headache. And to me, this character, like I said, is meant primarily for showing people the basics of the game. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything here. But what you see here, I will accept that. Now, typically what I do is I look at this, and anything that is more than 10% or 15% below the average market value, I don't sell it. So let's take a look at the actual selling value of these high-tech scanners. The station has them for sale for 433,000 ISK, or I can just outright sell it for 281. If this is a bigger item, then that value may actually affect me a lot more. But realistically, I anticipate being able to sell this for a little bit better. So I'll take it off of my list. Now, while this is claiming 10%, if you look, the buyers here are at 18.7 and the sellers are at 19.49. That may be 10%, but is that a 10% you're worth fighting over? I'm of the opinion of, nah. Alright. Armor blocks, that looks fine. Let's take a look at power couplings. I can either sell it for 5.5 or try to argue for 10. And I think I'll leave it go. As you see here, the buy price is almost as high as the sell price. There's no reason to argue with that one, so that'll stay. And here's where your time becomes a question of how much profit do you want to win. This is where you get to play Ferengi. I could turn around and sell this for a quick $1 million, or I could put it on the market for 1.25, and I'll get it. Is it worth the headache though? Well, if that 300 million is, or that 300,000 is going to make a huge difference for your pocket, then yes, it is worth it for you. For me, I'm not really going to argue with it right now. So let's keep moving on. The drone transceivers, they sell for 3 million a piece. It's only slightly below the selling price apparently, so let's take a look. Oh, you're right, I can. I forgot about that. The only downside, though, is it doesn't show you the seller prices for comparison. And that's the reason why I go into the market details, because I can see the asking price and it can give me an idea of how much lower it is. But it doesn't tell me that that difference is $500,000. It tells me that it's that much less. So I could either sell this for 3,727,000 a piece, or I could try to make arguments for an additional $500,000 by selling those on the marketplace. 500,000 times 14, that's 7 million in profit that I'd be losing for doing a quick sale. Is it worth it? That's a tough call. That's 7 million more. What, is it a tough call, or is it worth it? So, and remember that the idea is these are for newer players. So while on my main account 7 million is like, oh well, you know what, I can make it up over here. For newer players, excuse me, who are just getting started, that 7 million could be the difference between not having a new Imicus that's fully geared up with the best you can get on that Imicus, or having to settle for a mining boat. And then, you know, literally grind it out that way. So you got to factor it in that way. So I am actually going to put that on the market at the buy price, or the seller's price, just so that way I have a little bit more to show how you can do that. And the reason, exactly, every ISK is going to matter when you're new. So, in this particular instance, if you notice, instead of adjusting the price and putting it on to have the availability to put it out into the future, instead I'm taking it off. The reason I'm taking it off is because I don't want to have the broker's fee for all of it. I only want the broker's fee on the stuff that I'm choosing to sell in the future. That'll save me a lot of money on fees. All right, so the frozen food. Wow. Yes, code is those people. Now, the food right here, I could easily fly this out to one of these other locations and make a lot more on that food. I don't feel like it's worth it. It's a headache. It's work I don't feel like doing. So we're going to skip some of these things, and we're going to go straight down to the telemetry processor. Difference of about 4,000 ISK per unit, and I'm only selling one. Not worth my headache. The interface circuit. Wow. The buy price is actually higher than the sell price. We're going to take that. And you can do this for every, pretty much, yeah. You can do this for every single part, do a comparison for every single piece. But I normally limit myself to things that are at the 10% range or higher. So here we're selling for 23. I don't really see that as 10%. So there's really no point in arguing for that one or against that one. Analog panel, roughly even. Antibiotics, that's a very low value item. I'm not sweating it. Scorched telemetry. Let's take a look at the market for that. Yes, I mean, the price value is not that much to be a concern. There we go. All right, here we go. Here's a good example. the Enhanced Ward. By simply not instantly selling this and comparing to what you could be selling it at, you could be potentially throwing away almost $4 million in profit. So we are going to take that one off. The auxiliary parts, that looks like it's a huge price difference. And it really, really is. Look at that. Why would I turn around and sell this stuff for just under an ISK when I can put it on the market for 49 and I'll probably get it? So we'll take that off. Positron core. I think it was the same kind of example we were looking at earlier. 2 1/4 versus 12. Now, in this particular case, I don't care about that. We're not going to really use it anyway. Single crystal super alloy. It's a difference of 100,000 ISK. So I lose about $500,000. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I lose a potential $500,000 profit. Because it all depends on whether or not it actually sells. If it doesn't sell, then that's money I'm costing myself. So that's pretty much all of it. And if you notice, I dropped off a considerable amount. And that's because the one big thing that was making me all of my money I took off because there was a better way to sell it. So we're going to sell this. We're going to gain 45 million. There it is. All right. Now, you come back here. And as you see, we still have some stuff left. Now, this is the stuff we intend on selling at a higher price. So now, if you were planning ahead, like I clearly was not, you would have written down everything that you're trying to accomplish here. All right? But I'm an idiot, and I forgot to write it down. So, view marketplace. Oh, okay. That was a glitch. We'll take that one off. Apparently, I rolled off on it previously. All right. So we are going to sell these at 3,895 even. I'm going to put this out for 3 months. As you see, we now have a 3% broker's fee. So it's going to cost us a total of 5% to sell what we're selling here. But the difference in the profit should make up the difference. Market details. These are selling for 4 million even. So we will sell them for 4 million even. Actually, you know what? We'll take it down just below 4 million apiece. It'll still give us a tiny little profit. A high-tech scanner. Local selling price of $281 for an instant sale. Or I can put it on the auction house for 425,000, and that'll give me a decent profit. And there's 9 here. And we'll call that 40 here. And there it is. 100 million waiting for us to get. Well, just under 100 million, but you get what I mean. So we sell. And now what it'll do is it'll put these up on the marketplace. So it costs us 3 million to post up because you pay the broker's fee up front. If you come over here to the I keep saying auction house, we call it the regional market. As you see, they're right here. And as they sell, these numbers will reduce and we get our money. Oh, wait, whoa. Almost cost myself money. No need to no need to put it through a broker if it's just an instant sale. And there we go. Our first stop through Jita. We'll take a look. And as you see, each item shows its individual tax, how much we made for it, how much it cost, and here's our broker's fee for the stuff we just put on the auction house for the next few weeks. So that's that. And of course, you always have the option of doing the whole gaming the market situation, which I actually took advantage of once. One time I was out, I had, what did I have? I had 50 shuttles. Now where I was selling them, they were selling for about 2,000 a piece. Somebody about 30 jumps away had a purchase order for 100 of those things for 30,000 a piece. You bet your bottom dollar I picked up my Iteron, I popped that puppy full of shuttles, and I shuttled that across the galaxy to sell those at a 10-time markup. And then when I ran out of the ones that I built, I went to Dodixie and I bought the rest, and I flew them the whole way over there, and I filled that order. Why? Because it was worth my time and money. As a beginner, it was like the first 2 weeks I was playing it happened. I don't know if I do it again today, but it was pretty fun. So, all right. Well, I have a doctor's appointment coming up here, and so because of that, I'm thinking I am going to have to close out for the evening, or for the afternoon. I'll probably be back later. In any case, this was our first trip to Jita and a discussion about new players. So I'd like to take a moment to thank you all very much for watching. This is The Lone Wolf signing off. Fly safe out there, everybody.